Hey guys, this is Aaron from Fight Quality. Today I thought we'd take a look at a pair of gloves that I used a lot when I first started Thai boxing, which is the Fairtex BGV1 boxing gloves. Let's check it out. Right, so who are Fairtex? Well, Fairtex is one of the biggest brands in Thai boxing, and all their equipment is produced directly in Thailand. They may be only rivaled by companies such as Twins, Yokkao and Top King, who are also big Thai brands, but Fairtex have a good reputation for producing really durable equipment. So this is the Fairtex BGV1, which is probably their most common boxing glove on the market. This is a glove great for Thai boxing, and that's why it's gained lots of popularity, because it's a good all-round glove for whatever sort of training you want it for. Right, so there are actually two different versions of the BGV1 boxing gloves. The version that we've been testing out is a non-breathable version, which doesn't include a grip bar at all. So the whole palm is just leather on this version. And the other version that you can get has a breathable palm and also has a grip bar, which is a little bit closer to what people tend to expect from modern day boxing gloves. Of course, bear that in mind that the two versions will be slightly different, but a lot of the points made in this review should carry over. So this glove's available in 10 ounce, 12 ounce, 14 ounce or 16 ounce, which gives you a lot of flexibility depending on what you want to use it for. We've got the 16 ounce gloves, because when I first got these I really wanted to use them for sparring, but I have also used these for a lot of pad and bag work as well over the years. So the padding on this glove feels fairly well distributed. You have a lot of padding on the back of the hand as well as the knuckles and the thumb, so if you're worried about blocking kicks you've got plenty of protection just as much as on the knuckles. In terms of visuals, Fairtex have produced a lot of colour versions over the years. The version that we're testing out is just black with a dash of red, but there's all sorts of colours, so you should find plenty to choose from. On the back of the hand, of course, is the classic Fairtex logo, with their little made in Thailand genuine leather symbol there. The cuff patch looks really nice. It does get a little bit dirty over time. We've cleaned ours up a little bit, but it's just something to bear in mind that it doesn't stay clean forever. However, I sometimes like that slightly more rugged looking look, where it's just being used and being tested out a lot more. So I do really like the style of these gloves. I mean, I think the design is classic and instantly recognisable, but it's also plain enough that it could go with anything. So if you have other equipment you want to match it with, you could easily find a colour combination that would look really well and fit in with whatever you're using. I sometimes think when brands try too hard to make their gear look different, it sometimes makes it a little bit of a pain because you can't really find anything that looks well with it. To some people that doesn't really matter too much, but if you're a bit like me, I like to match up all my equipment together, just look that little bit better. So style isn't that important in reality, but what is materials. And at the end of the day, these are brilliant. The leather on these is one of my favourites. It's really sturdy and rugged, but also quite smooth. So you get a nice good material there. When we're comparing the durability of other gloves, I always tend to go back to these Fairtex gloves just because they are really a good specimen of what a sturdy pair of leather gloves should be. So as well as the outer material, the inside's really nice as well. Just around the inside of the wrist, it's covered by leather, but the rest of it is a nylon feeling material, which just fits really smoothly against the skin. It's not too soft, but at the same time, it's not very rough, and you don't really notice it too much, I don't think. So the inside of these gloves, it's got quite a wide hand compartment, I think. There's quite a lot of room in there. It doesn't feel like it's holding too snugly against your skin, which might not be to some people's liking, but then if you have a slightly bigger hand, these would probably fit really well. I think this is mainly because the padding's a little bit thinner on these gloves. It's a little bit more dense, so it leaves a lot more room inside. I also really like the Velcro on these gloves just because it's really strong, but also the strap has plenty of soft Velcro at the end no matter how tight you pull it, so you shouldn't have too much of an overhang or any hard Velcro that's going to scratch your opponents. Inside, there are no tags or labels either, so there's nothing to scratch against the side of your hand. That's not normally something I really have a problem with, but it is nice to know if you have had a glove which is a little bit uncomfortable because of it. So as well as the materials, these gloves are just really well put together. As you can see, the leather's stretched around really well at the sides, and all the stitching is really sturdy. I mean, we've used these for years and they're absolutely fine. They're really holding together quite well actually. My only real problem with these gloves is I wish there was a little bit more breathability, but that's why you do have the alternative version with the breathable mesh panel there. So it's not a huge issue at the end of the day. The back of the hand and the thumb are all covered by one piece of leather, which also just really helps the durability. There's one less bit of stitching to worry about breaking. But also it means that there's a nice curved, rounded feel to the glove as well, especially around the side here. So something you might notice about these gloves, especially if you compare them to other brands, is they do seem slightly small. What I mean by this is, compared to other 16-ounce gloves, these will be a lot more compact, which just means that they're really good at slipping in gaps if you're sparring. And if you're doing pads or bag work, they just feel nice and slim as well. They are also a very short glove, that is because they're a Muay Thai glove, so they're designed to have a very short cuff, as opposed to boxing gloves where you need the wrist support. With these ones, you need a little bit more wrist movement for clinching, and they use a bit extra protection in the wrist as well for blocking kicks, for example. So without the grip bar, you can still get a fairly natural fist just by clenching down. And there's a nice bit of padding underneath the fingers there as well, just to make it more comfortable. But they do have a fairly natural, slightly open hook shape to them. There's a little bit of hand movement, so you can open your fingers a little bit, but they're really meant for hooking on to those kicks, or perhaps the back of your neck if you're clinching, or their arm. So that's really what they're meant for. You're not meant to be open hand parrying. It's very much more of a hook shape with these. I do like that, especially when you are clinching, just because you can really latch onto your opponent, and they do pay off, which is one of the reasons why they're highly regarded as a great Muay Thai glove. So in the UK you can find these gloves for about £80. Sometimes they're a bit cheaper, sometimes they're a little bit more expensive. It can depend on things like the size and the colour options you go for. Obviously harder to find colours are going to be a bit harder to get hold of, so possibly a bit more expensive. So you got to remember, in Thailand it's slightly different than it is over here, and they tend to have one pair of gloves that they can use for everything. So obviously these are designed to be really sturdy and last for years. If you're looking for a glove that maybe isn't the cheapest but will last you for those good years, then these would be a great choice because they're not going to break down anytime soon. The materials are there, the quality is there, and the stitching is really great, so it should hold together really well. Right, so to summarise, let's go over a few pros and cons with these gloves. These gloves are really durable and really sturdy, and they've become a bit of a benchmark for what we look for when comparing other gloves in terms of durability. The wrist support's really good, so they're really good at blocking kicks. There's some nice thick padding there as well. Inside, it feels really nice. Once you break them in, you can get quite a nice comfortable fit. On the flip side, the hand compartment can feel a little bit wide sometimes, which if you do have smaller hands, it's not necessarily the best thing. But then on the flip side, if you have larger hands, these might be great. The Velcro can be a little bit hard to grip hold of, but that's just because it's really solid Velcro. And then finally, the lack of a grip bar may put some people off. Doesn't really bother us personally, but it does depend on what you're using for. If you're using more for boxing, then it's going to be something that you'll wish for. Right, so this was our video on the Fairtex BGV1 boxing gloves. If you like that, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to us for more videos. If you want to see more from Fight Quality, head over to fightquality.com for more reviews and guides.